All right,
You're
good
taking notes?
evening.
Super.
We're gonna start by looking at the warrants. And I'm just gonna move the computer a little bit so that somebody can help me watch for chat. All right, so I'd like to make a motion that we accept payroll number 7 for $1,002, $1,902.59. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we accept accounts payable number 8 for $22,409.71. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And that is for road work, for the road work that's been going on. It just finished, I think. And I'd like to make a motion that we accept accounts payable number 9 for $3,282.60. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes of July 17th, 2023 select board meeting. Do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have some gentlemen here and somebody online. Do we have any citizens issues? No?
I get a citizen's request, I guess it's an issue.
Okay.
I'd just like some kind of update on the Greenleaf saga.
We can do that.
We will do that, although there's not much of an update. Do you want to do that quickly, which is to say,
Last week, we got word that they had agreed to what we had agreed to a month ago. So this is an agreement under the auspices of the court. It will have the same effect as a court order. It will get registered with the registry. Basically, the agreement was that he's agreeing to the boundaries of the road for the survey. There's some other conditions as well. We don't know that he signed it. And there is a kicker that my recollection is that we had to have this agreement done and submitted to the court by the 26th, which is Wednesday, to avoid having the court case. So I don't think he wants to spend the money for the lawyers. So I'm not sure why it's taken so long for him to sign it. But we're hopeful that by Wednesday, we'll have a signed agreement. And at that point, the clock starts ticking. He's got 14 days to remove everything out of the road.
And he hasn't done that except the sign.
Well, I don't know that he's actually moved everything all the way back. He's moved a lot of stuff back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's but the sign seems to be.
we're not moving the sign until, we're not doing anything with anything until he's got it signed, and we wait our 2 weeks. So, yeah, it's sort of,
In my opinion, it makes the whole town retarded. Every time I go by there, I say, what town will let that happen? Just four, I guess.
well, until he moved it back, it actually looked like it was part of his property, at least from his perspective. So, I think with him leaving it there, it makes it obvious how much property he has taken.
It's obvious. I agree.
The
Yeah.
picture that was in the newspaper, the Lincoln County last week, the week before, he had stuff almost to the north property line of the town road.
Yeah.
It was pretty obvious in that picture, it was like an aerial view. And it showed that, the right of way of the town.
Yeah, again, it is kind of dumb. If it was impeding traffic, we have good costs. But we're trying to minimize the cost of any further legal stuff. So wanted to get him to agree and sign. And then we can proceed on pretty firm ground.
So right now you can't touch that sign.
We probably could, if it was impeding traffic, we could take action. He could then also go take action at us and sue us for touching his property. And it's the court case. Yeah, so it's just sort of not, and the other thing, to be frank, even though we're being recorded, is that I think there's a level in which he enjoys the aggravation. And we're trying not to give him that. So, so not a great reason. It looks dumb, but
Sure does.
yeah.
Is this volunteer to help you move that sign?
I have a tractor, I can get that far.
Yeah, I think we'll all want to be there and watch when you start to grade that, just get rid of that big pile of dirt that's holding up the sign. I think the dirt has to be there because it's holding the sign. And right now, there's no place else to put the sign. And it's better to have the sign there, I think, than not have it there, especially because we still have issues when ambulance or whatever needs to get through. So the sign needs to be there. And until there's something signed by him, it doesn't make any sense to move things.
We had the problem before last year where the sign disappeared. We actually were going to get another sign because it had disappeared, and then miraculously it appeared. So at least we have a sign, because we did have a case where the ambulance missed the turn.
That's fine.
That's not good. So we had a formal protest by the fire chief, by Stacy, to complain about that, so
All right, so we just had a nice conversation with Evan. Do you want to talk about the status of the session?
yeah. We got off to kind of a late start in doing assessing, but we have done almost all the assessing work. And again, that's going back to the building permits that from last year, things that were held overnight, this was not done for prior years. And Evan's got the data he needs. He's got 1 to 2 more stops to do.
One tomorrow morning, which is exciting. We're going to an island.
Ken McMahon's Island. So that's pretty much done. What we're going to be doing, and we'll have to do a fair amount of publicizing this, is that your valuations are going to change. Everybody's valuations are going to change because this sales ratio, what our current assessed values are against what the state thinks they should be, is so far out of whack now, almost 20%. But the state will start reducing what they give us for reimbursements. So homestead exemption, state reimburses the town for a portion of that. They'll start not giving us the full amount.
The state thinks we're worth more than we do.
Yes. Because a lot of our stuff is out of date. Our valuations are based upon basically 2015. And then we try to keep that. So what the state wants us to do, or what Evan, our certified assessor, wants us to do, is to factor everybody up, make everybody's valuation goes up, your taxes will go down. The input will be pretty much be the same thing. You're going to have more, the mill rate will go down. Your taxes will stay the same. So valuation goes up, mill rate goes down, taxes stay the same, because we still need the money. Same amount of money we plan. So that's one of the things that'll be happening with this year's tax bills. We're also going to put out a letter to everybody who we touched the assessments and say, hey, we've been to your property, this is the change. So we can be given kind of heads up, we like to get it out before we give them time to get back to us, before we do the tax bills. So if there's a concern or an issue, we have a chance to maybe fix it before the tax bills go out. But we're scrambling because it's kind of late in the game to do that. We want to get the tax bills done by the end of August.
At least this gives people an idea of what's happening and what will happen when the bills come up, so they won't be surprised.
So does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
So that's the assessing is good. Again, Evan, this is his, I think, 3rd year doing with the town. So he's getting pretty familiar with the properties and he's fixing errors in our system at the same time, which is a good thing.
All right, roads. There are a couple actually issues with roads, but any updates that you have? And then I have a couple on my list.
Paving on East Shore Road is completed. Jack is spread approximately 350 yards of gravel around the island. He has what's out here, and they gotta deliver 5 more loads to make the 500 yards. this is such a deal that I think we should do another 200 yards. I'd love to do another 500, but there's other things that gotta happen. But I think another 200 is doable. And I highly recommend it. He hasn't done Baker's Road yet. I told him to start at the top of the knoll and go in and do what he's gonna do. Leave the front part till we get this all settled. Upper West Shore Road's gonna get quite a bit because there's some, where the culverts are, where the low spots are, should be built up. Saltwell Road. And, of course, the other part of West Shore Road, Post Office Road. They're all gonna get a little something, whatever he thinks he needs to grade them and do a decent job, so. I'm really advocating for this other 200 yards because you can't beat the price. And you can't beat Jack's price. And what I've taught other contractors, I said, look, if we put this out to bid to supply the gravel, spread it and grade it, how much a yard? They're all between 65 to 75 a yard. We're gonna have less than 55.
Wow,
And
nice.
so I'm really pushing to do a little bit more because the price can't be beat really. What they're delivering it for is, now when you do, if you know, one question that was asked by a contractor that I talked to, he says, can we take a triaxle and spread this, bring it down here and spread it on the road? Because of power lines and tree limbs. And that's why we're doing it this way. It's efficient, it's cost effective, and we're getting a good deal.
So what would you like to propose, is the amount?
And the 500 that we agreed to in the beginning, and then another 200.
Another 200,
That brings,
it's about 11,000 now, 55.
2420 a yard delivered out here times 700 yards, that'd be $16,940.
That's delivered one,
That's delivered here.
yeah,
His price for spreading it is gonna be about 15. And then he'll bring the grader down and everything will get graded
15
about 15,000.
to do
the grade is a flat price,
Every-
15,000.
everything,
No,
just the extra 200?
the extra 200, I didn't break that down.
Putting you on the spot, Jim, sorry.
No, that's fine. I don't want any confusion. If we get the other 200 yards.
Okay.
The cost to Ferriello for the gravel will be $16,940 for 700 yards delivered right here.
So the 200 would be an additional 4840.
No, that's
No.
included in the 16, that'd be 700 yards.
Okay, so it's just a rate for the 700 yards.
Yeah, 700 yards. I didn't do the
Okay.
500 because I was really looking for the 700 at this point because.
So would you like us to,
It's actually
support you?
22, sorry, that comes out to 2285 a yard.
No,
16,000,
$16,940.
okay.
Should be 2420.
Okay,
Check my math, bro.
Yeah,
I trust
got
you.
24,000.
Well, unless my construction master's
Yep,
lying to me. If it
exactly.
is, I'm-
No, you're right, okay.
So
So-
then it'll be approximately $15,000 to load it on the truck and spread it around.
Okay.
And then the grader at the end, so that would be another 15,000, we're at 31,000. I told him I had 35 to spend. So could be 40, but it won't be over 40.
So this is already in your budget, your plan, to do this. So you would like our approval,
Right.
our stamp of approval.
Right, because he's not just gonna grade the gravel he's putting down, he's gonna grade all the potholed areas on the spots that have enough gravel to grade and get, like Post Office Road and the first part of Cloud Point, it's all potholed up, didn't get any gravel, but we just put 100 yards there 3-4 years ago. So it'll get the surface back into shape, because as I said this spring, there's so much traffic on these dirt roads and the speeds are so fast. It doesn't take long to pothole up these roads,
Mhm.
and they really need to be graded twice a year at this point, I feel. And that's why I waited to do the gravel till now, midway through the summer. Put the gravel down, we grade them again, we should be good in the winter. That's my hope.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we ask Jim to order another 200 yards of gravel.
Okay.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
Thank you.
we have our blessing.
Jack, he didn't come down today, but he will, he said he'd be down tomorrow, and Ferriol was supposed to bring more gravel tomorrow. Cause they still got 5 boats to go to make the
Just to get
original
to
500.
500, yep.
It's, yeah, like I say, I'd love to do 1,000, but there's other issues burning. But it is a good price. Paving, gravel work. I have a request of the town. Up here on Mosier's Corner, and it really doesn't have anything to do with the driveway we put in. It has to do with more with when Asplin cut that ledge off right back to the trees. Back, I don't know how long ago it was, before all them bushes grew up. When you come down over the hill heading north, you could see cars coming down the hill on the other side, so you knew before you rounded that corner that, oh, there's a car coming. I'd like permission on my time to trim that ledge off again where it's town property.
That's where we want to have that community,
Right.
yeah, I think that is.
I just want to trim it back to the
Yeah.
power lines, you look, and it will make a difference for every motorist who goes north on the road.
If it makes it safer, absolutely. do.
And make it safer for everybody.
Yeah.
And the only reason it came to mind is because I was sitting in the end of that driveway when we were working there, which will be down there tomorrow, I guess, geez, I remember when that was cut off and that was so good when you was going north. So I'm gonna ask him if I can cut that off again. And, I just think it'd be better for everybody.
Yep, thank you for thinking of that,
And
yes.
there's no, no stellar trees there by any means. It's
No.
just bushes and alders or something, I don't know.
Well, if we ever get to access that property, there'll be a lot of cutting anyway. So,
Right, I wanna get the state down here, I have been.
I know you've been busy, yeah, yeah. By the way, what do you two think about the East Shore Road?
It's good, certainly a good pavement.
It's too good.
It's too-
Yeah, people are
That's
always
it.
going. way
That's
too
what
fast.
somebody else said to me too on Greenleaf. I said, oh, it's nice. She goes, no, she says, now they'll go even faster.
Yeah, they're going super fast.
Yeah.
It's the same cars, it's the same people.
Yeah.
We all know who they are.
Yeah.
You think they would have a little common courtesy, but common courtesy ain't so common anymore.
No,
We haven't got the signs, the speed signs up.
I do, not yet, they're not up.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just telling Gary, because he's requesting.
yeah. It's just taking a while, Gary, sorry.
Yeah,
There is. They will never need it more.
Yeah.
Flying now.
Yeah.
I'm looking at speed bumps.
yeah.
Mhm.
By the way, I went down East Shore the other day to visit a friend, and I didn't see a stop line at the south end. Maybe I just missed it, but I thought that
I
the
don't
sign
think there ever
was,
was one there.
wouldn't it make sense to have one there?
I can order one, because I gotta order a yield sign for, Ralph called me, texted me the other day, the yield sign at the intersection of North End Road, Lord Road's missing.
Hmm.
Remember this winter,
Yeah.
there's a stop sign,
Yeah, yeah.
post and all, same as a stop sign, post and all gone. So I gotta order one of them. And
Well, since we're on the topic of signs, Stacy also said that there's some of the signs are getting so faded, the street signs, that we might want to get a list and order just replacements.
I noticed Colby Road up there across from Dennis's is faded, and you can barely see it.
Yeah.
I did talk to Mike Stern yesterday about the signs in Rum Cove. That's the first, I can't say no, we've discussed the need for 911. The need is there. That's one of the first things the road committee should be working on is an ordinance related to private road signs. They need to be there, but we need some sort of, enforcement. Whether they pay for part of it or how that works, that's why the road committee really should come up with something that's fair to the town and the taxpayers and fair to the landowner, because these signs are, I think myself, these 911 signs are more important than any stop sign. You know what I mean? I mean, when you say the average age was down here,
55.
so that bears on my mind a lot, that we need these road signs and they're critically important, I think. So I'll be ordering the signs for Rum Cove as well.
Again, it's not, they're not cheap, but they're
Needed.
needed.
They need it, yeah, and I didn't really get into too much detail with him, but I told him there's an ordinance gonna be in the works. So don't expect, because he was like, well, the town's getting a lot of tax money out of all these lots and they've never really gotten anything for their tax dollars. Understood. Somebody's gonna make some money there eventually. So this may be the last hoorah for the freebies. I just think it ought to be equitable. We need to stop that is what we need to stop.
Yes, yes. Do you want to give an update on the West Shore Road Causeway, that had a little bit of a problem this weekend?
This is the third
Or
time I've
actually-
been down there since spring. As I told Jeff, it's gonna be a priority in the spring, next summer, to stabilize the road surface. And it's gonna cost a few bucks. What I was hoping was that the federal money was gonna come in and we could do a culvert and do it all at once. Unfortunately, that's probably not gonna happen. So I think we need to peel the hot top off, put some 6 to 8 inch ledge over it. Downsize as we come up, build it up, go with smaller rock, and then put geogrid and fabric and just skim it with 6 inches of gravel and then pave it.
I noticed that a year or so ago when I had walked down there. I remember contacting Gary at that time, Gary Cromwell, and letting him know, because there was like a hole this big. that,
Right. I could reach
this
my
one
arm
was big.
Saturday,
Yeah.
I was right up here down in there.
Yeah,
And
They were scary.
looked almost like a
Yeah.
sinkhole come.
Yeah.
it's right, what it is that whole causeway is made out of big rock. And, with that hole in the hot top, you could hear the water flowing through just fine. But with it, was put in what, early 70s?
Yeah.
Late 60s, early 70s, all the fines, and they didn't have geogrid and fabric and stuff back then. So all the fines had dropped through and been taken away by the time. There was no, you need rock like that, a layer of rock like that to fill in the voids, but not fall all the way through. And then get it up to the point where you can put some fabric on it and not tear it. And it should be paved to keep water off it.
Yeah.
Now, I would like to do a culvert at the same time, but that's when you get into the engineers.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna cross that bridge and get myself over the town in some hot water with Army Corps or anybody. Plus, I don't think Connie would be too happy if I changed the water level in that pond, and that's what we're trying to avoid is keep that the way it is, but allow good water flow.
Mhm.
And the water, it's been there for 50, 60 years, it's working fine.
Yep.
It just needs some attention,
Yep.
and it is a concern of mine because it's the safety issue.
Mhm. Yeah, she was very concerned, I know, and was trying to figure out what world to put there to make sure that.
Right, and what I do is I put rocks in there,
Mhm.
and I put fabric and then some rocks, and then some gravel. Is it a fix? Temporary, you know, that's the second or third place I've done. What I need somebody like Connie to let me know so I can get down there and
I did give her your number and told her, call you directly next
Yeah.
time, because I think she contacted Jeff and me.
No,
No?
no, actually, we had someone from Plummer Road called the select board number, and I picked up that call and reported it. Connie was aware of one of the smaller of the two. The big one though was new. That had just come up. And so
She
that's,
sent pictures.
and I called Connie to have her just check with that, because I was here. That's when we sent a chance because you were busy.
Right, yep, yeah, because I saw them the pictures when I got home, and it was pretty scary.
yeah, I put the floaty thing there on a bush here, just, you know, so to mark it, so, but it is a concern, I am concerned.
So,
If I wasn't trying to preserve what we have on the roads, that I would make that it is a priority. But preserving what we already have as much as I can, because the ditching that I'm proposing is preservation of what we have
Which is what everybody wants, yeah.
so you're talking about doing this when?
next summer.
Next summer?
But in the meantime, we have
Is
to
it,
monitor.
good? Yeah.
Yeah,
Think it'll-
it's,
hold up.
it keeps,
This has been an ongoing thing.
Yep.
I didn't realize how bad it was till I stopped by Gary's one day this spring. The first time I went down there and patched it. And he says, oh yeah, I went down there, you know, every couple of weeks doing something. It's like, well, you know,
yeah,
I come into this blind, I was offered no, you know, not much of anything as far as keep your eye on this, keep your eye on
Right,
that.
Yeah.
Uh,
You're doing a good job.
I'm trying to do the best I can, you know.
yeah, but as I said, I reported a year or so ago, because I would walk down there and I would see it walking, but it was scary, yes.
Yeah, Connie, Carol Norris has called, texted me once, I think the second time I went down there, and now this makes the third time. And it's, you know, I took a fish tray of rocks and some of this gravel and a piece of fabric, I got a causeway repair kit now that I keep, you know. You know,
Keep it handy.
So the complication with, again, this is, so it's part of what has been submitted for the engineering study.
Right, right,
So it would be covered by that. The trouble is, by the time we get
right.
the engineering,
Yeah.
it's-
This is just for the study.
so we have a problem. We don't have an engineering design to how to address it, you know, properly. But the other thing is also the concern about the height of the road, because now it does have, gets overwashed
Yeah.
with storm surge.
Yeah.
So that's another thing, how to build the road. So there's different pieces of this. We'll see what we can buy it off.
you know, all I'm doing is trying to stabilize what's there. If you build it up, you're gonna have to widen it out, now you're getting into permits and engineering. I was hoping this would move a little faster, so this would be covered by some of this grant money, federal money, but it's too much of a priority to wait for that.
Yeah.
And you could get an engineer down there, and he can design you something that you're gonna need permits, and, you know, even a simple fix like that, you get an engineer down there, he's gonna design something that we don't want to spend money on, because this will be a
Make it all.
fix.
Yep.
It'll be a fix, but it won't be the big fix for the culvert and building it up for sea level rise, because if you build it up too much more, you're gonna have to widen it out to keep, so two cars can use. And like I say, you gotta pave it, try and keep the water off it, that's a big thing too. And I can do that. I can't get in the culverts and widening and stuff like that.
we just keep monitoring it and then
We'll
I,
monitor it,
Yeah.
and if next summer there's no signs of movement from the feds or whoever, then we'll do what I recommended, and it'll last as long as it'll need to.
Mhm, mhm. And maybe in the meantime, we'll finally get a grant or something.
Well, we need to be looking, I think, for other opportunities, to have it address this, maybe separately from the other work that we're trying to do.
Yeah.
This is one of the 3 high priority, culvert replacements. But also this one's got the road elevation problem, as does the, North Shore Road comes one.
And the culvert at Ronnie's, which I told Dennis, which I plan on calling Dennis this week. I told him, because he asked me, well, what would your priority be? And I said, well, the culvert stuffed inside the culvert at the bottom of Ronnie's Hill is kind of a priority. That's before I've been down there and patched that 3 times and realized that what's going on. So my priorities have changed, roads are always an evolving thing, and it's revolved from one culvert to a different area now.
Yep. As you learn more, you realize things have to change. All right, the last thing I have on my list is, I did participate in the webinar the other day for the issue around April 30th, May 1st, the storm. And we have until August 4th to submit something.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, so April, you and I need to work on that to figure out what roads could we apply for funds. It has to be at least $3,800.
We had more than that in
Yeah,
damage.
yeah, so we need to get together soon.
So talk some more about that, because
Yeah, I don't have my notes with me, I didn't bring my notes, but basically, we can submit, and we're encouraged to submit it, it's all electronic. And then it has to be at least $3,800, but there's not an upper cap. So for example, if you had culverts, let's say you had 5 culverts, those 5 culverts together, you wouldn't do each one as a small project and say, okay, this one's only $1,000. So
is this to cover what we paid, or is this to cover future work? Because we spent about 3,800, 4,000, I think, between
Yeah, I
the
think,
different
I think
projects.
it's a combination, and basically, what I would recommend is we get a hold of somebody who would help us work through that process. That's what they have encouraged us to do, is to talk through. One, you have to have very detailed notes, so if you forked out that kind of money, then we'd have to have, documentation on that.
right, well, Julie's got the pictures, I still got pictures on my phone. Ashley's obviously paid Jack for the
Mhm.
Doggett Road, the main road,
Yeah. Yeah.
post office road. I have to look at my notes too to see what,
Those are the 3 things I think are substantial, and then we could maybe talk about some of the other efforts in terms of trees that had to be addressed.
Yeah,
Right,
and
those
if
trees, the fire
things still
department,
need to be
yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, if things still need to be done that weren't done with,
well, if there's mitigation stuff too, that culvert on by Ron Studley's that I wanna add. That's part of the mitigation of stopping the water from reaching that road like it's done twice in the last 7 months.
well, they also talked about the potential for grants so that to stop further issues. So what I'd like to do is get with you and let's see what we can do to submit something. You have all the information, Ashley has all that information. And we need to just contact, they were very helpful. And, yeah, I know. I'll get with you in just a second. And that maybe, as soon as possible. I just wanted to tell you that we have till August 4th to do that. And we need to, have all that documentation.
That's everything from.
Julie,
I think also you just have to realize that mitigation has to be for areas that we already addressed in the storm. We can't just go looking for areas that we want to mitigate going forward.
no, but but there are grants available that they talked about to prevent further damage if, if you know that, because they have been saying that every time they turn around, there are more and more storms and more requests for funding support. So there's also that opportunity. So to me, the best thing to do is to get somebody who will work with us. But that has to happen very soon. And so I wanted to get with you to figure out a time that we could start to do that process.
Yep,
I don't have my notes with me, but, we'll be here Wednesday afternoon for a regular workshop. So maybe we could even get together then if you're available after
once
work.
the hours.
We'll be there 3 to 6.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. So, and I can ask Ashley to start to pull up.
Pull out the bills from that,
Yep.
Jack for that.
That part was, I guess, this is why I think we want to understand what they're offering. If we're talking about paying for what we spent, we've got that. We just need to
It's a
show the pictures.
combination, yeah,
If
exactly.
we're talking about mitigation, we've actually got a piece of that with the stuff out around student with your, the work we're putting out to bid. So we have actually work there that, we can't quite, unfortunately, we can't give them a price yet. We don't know what we're gonna get for the bids on that.
Right, but I can, whoever gets the bid, I can say, look, when you're doing this, keep the cost of this,
Separate.
separate. Put it on your bill as one bid, but just kind of give me a pretty close ballpark of
Yep.
what it costs to put that one culvert in.
Yeah, yeah.
And-
Other towns have been doing, seems like have had a lot of issues. And so this seems to be, it's like almost every town has its own little MEMA representative.
Mhm.
And I think we need one. And that's why I'm saying let's submit.
Well, Jason is the EMA director. Yeah.
All right, well, was he on the call?
He's the one who sent us the info so that we could
Okay.
attend.
Well,
So I think you may have Jason, if you can get Jason engaged.
I'll
too.
see if he's available
Yeah.
to.
In terms of filling this stuff out, you're right.
By town.
Huh?
Yeah.
I
by
know,
town.
but so
Yeah.
you're right because we haven't done a lot of this, but Gay also has been a big resource for this type
But
of.
we just have to move quickly.
Well, I'll be here Wednesday. Westport, even though our roads are in horrible shape, we
We've been
come
lucky.
out pretty good compared to
far.
a lot of other towns east of us. They got the brunt of it, I think.
Yeah, and there's still issues way up north, but this one is specifically, in fact, they highlighted each storm as a specific different issue and a different proposal. So I'll check in with Jason to, if he's, or should I contact Gay first, maybe? Gay.
Talk to both. Jason, I think, again, because technically he is the lead for emergency management. And so he can help in that sense. And I think probably has to be something with his involvement. Gay has the experience of putting the package together and building a good case.
Yep.
I mean, this is where pictures would have helped. We had
Well, I got my
pictures.
pictures,
Well, there are
Jimmy didn't like my pictures on my flip phone, but now I'm all geared up, I'm like.
There you go, you're all set for the next storm.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I'll talk to Lisa and figure out what, do you have any idea about what time you're available? Is it later, like
Be
5 or
like
so?
4 or so,
Okay.
4:30,
Okay,
as soon as I get out of work. I'll
Okay,
Come
so,
directly here.
I'll get a hold of Jason and Gay and see who's available, but we do need to.
Let's shoot for 4:30.
Okay, okay,
Cause I know other people are involved and I'll be here 4:30.
yeah, well, you were the one that knows all the issues and whatnot, and so I knew you'd be here tonight and wanted to make sure that,
Bring my microscope glasses and you can look at my pictures.
they're gonna get better.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we'll work on that, but I just wanted to make sure that, you have
Yeah,
that
because that's,
information
you
to
know,
know.
that's real money that we spent and to get the roads back straightened out.
Yeah.
it has to be reimbursed.
if reimbursed, if not, some mitigation, you know.
Yeah.
And I forgot to bring my notes, and this was last Friday, so I don't remember. I thought it was, there's a certain percentage of what the town will pay.
Used to be 10%.
That
The contribution for FEMA to that money
I
is
think
10%.
it's still, yeah. And then there was something else that had another amount to it, and I was madly taking notes and doing screenshots, so, but
So they pay 10% or we pay 10%?
we pay 10%, so they'll cover 90% of
That's
it.
better
Yeah,
number.
but there's a bit of paperwork involved, as I understand,
I know
so
people that-
they make it painful.
I know people that are good at paperwork.
Yeah.
Good at three of them right there.
Well, and like I said, it was all electronically done, and they went over all of that, and then they moved in onto some things that weren't even relevant. And it wound up being a lot longer.
Maybe
Webinar.
Stacy Hutchinson should be involved in this, where the fire department was involved.
Could be, again, this is seeing what they're looking for collecting costs and input.
Because they also talked about volunteer help, and we could.
Yeah, because we had
Cost
much
for
of the
that.
fire department was out.
Right.
That night,
Jason,
the trees.
you know, there were trees
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
so I just wanna make sure the fire department gets there.
We got.
Yeah. Yes, Julie.
You do need the fire department involved because you do need to include the volunteer hours. Those are part of what is included, and all the paperwork and everything. Jason and I have to do a lot of that paperwork from the fire department and from the EMA perspective.
Yeah, you don't have to claim the volunteer, but you certainly can, and that would help give us more money. So yeah, even if it's volunteer work, yep.
We want to
So
do that.
Excuse me?
We want to do that.
Yes, I know, yes, of course, because if they're only paying 90%, that 10% could be the really our in-kind labor there. So, yeah, we'll get working on that on Wednesday.
Yep.
Okay. Any correspondence?
Well, before we get off roads, can we go back and talk now that we've completed the paving? When will Griffith complete the post paving work?
Right, we done Greenleaf, the driveways on Greenleaf Road.
Okay,
We'll do the driveways off East Shore Road probably sometime this week. It's gonna be hot the end of the week. I'm really concerned about putting a big truck on it close to the edge. I'd rather wait till next week to do the shouldering. Maybe even the end of next week when it's cool, and, because we don't wanna stake it up, you know, and I think that people will be fine for a week or two. I mean, I'd rather wait, you know, a week or two.
let's not mess up the road.
Right.
Yes,
You know, we've come this far and it's a good job. I'm very happy with the quality of the work. And people just gotta keep it between the ditches.
keep it between the lines, right?
So good, we'll have pretty much this will be wrapped up by the end of, everything will be wrapped up by the end of August for the project.
Oh, yeah, probably by, you know, first week of August we'll probably be done.
Super, yeah.
And Jack will be done hopefully. And this bid work, well, I'll get the numbers back on that. And then I can get Bay Shore Road work put up with.
I got a response back from Jim Katsifikis, the town attorney, on the RFPs. He said Sam was fine. He did have some points about the other work, but unfortunately I just got it before the meeting, so I haven't looked at it. I didn't see Mark, so just know there may be something there we might have to modify and get back out to people with some changes.
Nothing major that would really impact somebody.
I don't think so, but I haven't read it. I just didn't see any markup.
I didn't see any markup.
Did you see, did everybody get it?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
cool.
didn't see it, yeah, but I haven't checked
I
my,
looked at it, I noticed you put something in full caps, the fixed rate line does kind of, I didn't really see anything in specific.
Well, that's an easy fix, right?
yeah, nothing needy,
Just,
If we don't have to do anything, the one that's already out there,
then let it
we'd
be.
be better off.
Yeah.
When we go to the Bay Shore Road, we make adjustments.
Okay.
I hate to You know,
No.
exclusive business, such things in the middle.
Well, I didn't know what his comments were, so I just wanted you to know that we had that input back. But, yeah, we can look to see what we want to do.
And if
Yeah,
that's all it is, it's a recommendation, it wouldn't be a requirement.
You know, the Bay Shore Road stuff, because we're really looking for that template for the boiled white stuff.
Mhm.
And we want to get something that he's happy with, that we're happy with. And then it's just a matter of scope of work and
Yep.
specifications.
Use it as your template, right? Plug in the numbers, yep, yep. Anything else on roads
I'll stop.
between the two of you? All right, correspondence. I didn't have anything. Do you have anything? Do you have anything?
Well, actually, that letter is sort of like correspondence.
Okay.
Yeah.
We actually have an invitation to attend, 2023 Municipal Client Seminar, on the 14th of September. It is free. It's in the evening. And they'll talk about all sorts of things. It's going to be a lot of topics in 2 hours. Everything from property tax stabilization to PFAS and sludge to affordable housing, FOAA, freedom of access for information, remote meetings, general assistance, tax required properties, and more in 2 hours. So I'm supposed to have company that week, but I'm gonna put it on my calendar. And I know that Lisa already put it on hers, so the 14th.
This is, I've gone to 2 of these now, and
Are they worthwhile?
they're very worthwhile. They, but also it's good for planning board
Mm.
people. I'm not sure if they'll cut us off in terms of how many, but in the past, Gary Richardson has gone where it's been relevant. I went when I was a planning board member. And it used to be some of the select board would go.
It does say elected officials, appointed officials, and employees.
Yeah.
So basically, that would be the staff, that would be us, and then all the appointed
Yeah.
officials.
So-
Yep,
But I just, I don't know if they have a cutoff the number, but they do also offer dinner.
well, it was a
So
light
it's a
dinner. or
free
something.
dinner too.
Yeah, I wasn't going there for the dinner for sure, but it looks like you can register online. So what I can do is let some of the other folks know about it.
Yeah, so kind of circular, because again, sitting at Ashley, if she could go,
Yep.
it could be helpful.
Yep.
They do, again, what it is, it's their, again, they want our business. They were our town attorneys until
Hmm,
the Baker Road fiasco. But
they want us back.
that one is, that particular individual is no longer at that firm. But that's part of the kind of sharing their advice and their observations on the new laws.
Yep.
So they do it after the legislative session, so that's why it's in September.
All right, admin items. We have 2 appointments to take care of today. One of them we had taken care of, and we didn't realize it was actually for 3 years instead of 1 year. It's for the local health officer. It will be Kathy Henderson, who's a retired nurse. And so so I'd like to make a motion that we appoint her as a local health officer for 3 years. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Right.
All right, and then we also have an appointment for deputy constable, and that is John Henderson. And that is a 1-year term. And so I'd like to make a motion that we approve John Henderson to be the deputy constable, who I guess will help with me, eventually helping with the deer too, right? With the deer.
I think I'm the dead deer guy, that's all there is.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, I don't have any other admin items. Do either of you two have any items?
I think just something, because I won't be around much. We have emails from Emily Robb from the Regional Planning Commission. So they're looking for a letter of support for a housing opportunity program. So again, I haven't read this well, but just one of the things again, we're trying to do is share affordable housing in Lincoln County. And so this is trying to do some planning work to help find opportunities for affordable housing. What can we do that would help promote more affordable housing? So I think we look at it and maybe next week follow through with that letter of support. But I think just from talking with them in the past, there's, again, it's a crying need. We had the housing study done, it's just how little housing was built from 2010.
Did that come to you? Because I didn't see it in mine. So would you forward it to the two of us?
Okay, did it just come to me? Maybe it came to me because I'm the rep, so
Right.
apologize.
Yep. Just like this.
Let me see it.
And then we can talk about it next.
Yeah, it doesn't say who it went to, but I'll forward it to you.
Yeah, I just looked in my box. I didn't look at the select board box. But it looks like second selectman there. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I'll copy Rich as well. For the planning board.
Any other admin items? Anything? No. All right, any other legal business? We did contact the lawyer for the case that we were working, that we talked about last week briefly, and we have not heard back from the lawyer. That's a Longobardi issue. So we're waiting to hear from the lawyer before knowing how to take next steps. So there's nothing there. That was last Tuesday that I contacted Tuesday morning. So no update there. Any other legal business? Any other questions?
The question is, Buddy Greenlee still the constable?
Yes, he is.
And when did my term as his deputy end?
At least last year, didn't you? Actually, it's a good question. You were the deputy animal control, and you resigned from that, so I
I
understand.
did.
Yeah, but you did resign
I've
from
been
the,
sworn in one or twice after that for the deputy constable.
okay.
And if my term is over, my next question is, why don't you ask the guy who's already there if he wants to continue before you get somebody else? No, this doesn't seem fair.
I would agree, and I think that it's because we didn't know that your term had.
You didn't know I was deputy constable?
I will have to check on that.
I'll say that, I frankly, I knew you had been, but I think when you resigned as deputy animal control.
No, they specifically wanted me to keep that backup buddy on that.
Well, I didn't have that awareness.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, maybe April, because mostly April would prepare the appointments and we followed through with that. She mostly took people who were already in the job and
So she
checked to
would have
see.
known that
That
you
would
were,
make sense.
Yeah, but I don't know why you weren't contacted.
Didn't like the way I did the job.
no.
And Mr. Henderson can have it. No problem. I was curious. I thought it was still it.
No, and I will definitely check that tomorrow, because I know that if April thought that you were still it, that she would have asked you to continue that. And if your term hasn't expired, then we would expect you to still do it, so, I think that there wasn't, our assumption was that there wasn't one. And, but we only have so much back history, so, and things just fall through the cracks sometimes, so it may have been that when you resigned from one, the assumption was you resigned from both, which isn't a good assumption to make.
Well, it's, and it wasn't made at the time because me and George talked about it. I've been sworn in at least twice after that as deputy.
Well, we'll definitely check it out, and would you still be interested in keeping the position?
I would happily pass it off to Mr. Henderson if he wants it. However, I just think protocol should be.
No, I
I
agree.
should have been asked, but
Yeah.
my job just goes away.
No, we would never do that, Gary, never do that.
He could be deputy.
No,
Dead deer,
no. And I'll apologize now, because somehow or another, there clearly was a screw up, because I know that we would not have asked somebody else to take the position if somebody was in that just, it's not how we operate.
Good.
So, but, do you know if it was a 3-year position or not?
Every year.
Every year, so it was a yearly position.
The last time I was sworn in was at the voting booth. She happened to catch me up there and swore me in last year. She usually comes and gets me and lets me know. I've never kept track.
Yeah, yeah. So somehow or another, that wasn't in our, in our field of vision here. But we would be more than happy to keep you in that position if you'd like it.
Well, if Mr. Henderson wants it, he can have it. If he
I
doesn't
think we
care,
were
I'll
just
keep it.
looking, I think we're just trying to find somebody. So if you're willing to keep it, I can let John know and I will talk to April tomorrow.
I don't find the constable listed on our website. So that's only a note back to April. I don't find Buddy listed on the website. I did a search on constable as a keyword, not found it. So I find animal control officer, but. So,
And now, of course, we've had to change that because I know I've called you for help before, a couple times.
this is a direction to the sheriff, so that's. the-
You're right now it goes to the sheriff.
But so sweet, we have a problem. We're not showing it the constable. And those with point personnel.
Well,
That's what I came to you guys. I don't want a 90-year-old guy pulling here on the road.
You must know Anderson, that's why they want Anderson as his deputy.
No, I think we were looking for someone to help Buddy. Someone came up, who could do
yeah, and we needed to find somebody because we thought we didn't have anybody.
it. Yeah, we actually had this conversation back in the spring when we needed to post something. I think it's actually posted in the warrant. And
Yep.
it had to go through Buddy as the constable. And that was problematic. So I started saying, well, we better have a fallback plan. And Gary,
Yes.
I'm sorry, but
Yeah, no,
It-
I
it
used
lost-
to post at the town hall and Buddy would post here
yeah.
because he was out of his way and I could buy it. So
Yep.
it
So,
all
yeah,
lost somewhere.
I don't know how that happened, but,
Well, we had some hiccups in the transitions that have gone on, so I apologize. It seems like this is one of those hiccups too.
and so I'm glad you're here today because,
Me too, because I was going around thinking I was still on board.
Right?
we want you, Gary. So we will we'll revisit that next week. But I'm just gonna leave it be right now because we need new paperwork and whatnot. So next week we'll swear you in. And I'm sure John will be more than happy. He's doing enough other things. We were desperate to find somebody who would be willing to help and, there you were the whole time.
Here I was, just waiting.
Yep. All right. If there aren't any other questions or whatnot, I'd like to make a motion that we call it a night.
Well, I'm sorry, one more piece. The box of stuff that we're putting together, of old documents and things. So I had a partial conversation with Gabe. So looking through it myself, I was seeing things that were old, kind of basic level documents like auto registrations. And they're the sort of thing that is supposed to be destroyed after 6 years.
1991 documents.
It's kind of neat, because you can see what you paid for your auto registration back 30-some years ago.
Did we have cars back then?
But it was kind of fun too. We had Bill Banyans, Bill and Steve Banyan were on there. Just, it's kind of interesting seeing who's going down memory lane as to who was around back then. But bottom line is that there's some things going through that Gay's gonna do that first cut.
Okay,
So I don't have to.
but we don't
go
need it
through
up on top of the counter out.
Well, she just needs to get to it.
Yeah, yeah.
So she'll get back
We need
to
it
it.
back in the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why the box is on the counter, so she can get to it.
Okay.
But she'll go through, and some things it was a no-brainer, like the assessing of the notebook.
Mhm.
That's
That
public
was
information.
history.
Yeah, that's public. But the things that's personal information, we actually really can't keep it. That's Gay's interpretation. I'm not
So it should be
gonna argue
burned.
with her.
Mhm.
So I think those auto registrations probably have to be destroyed. And
Yeah.
as we get into that, this is where we need to log this destruction. So when we do destroy something, we need to log it. That's where we have a spreadsheet that you and I started
Yep.
back this winter. But even just handwrite, we destroyed this document, this date. That would cover us, and then we need to save that information so we have that record.
Yeah, we are trying to clean up the files in there, and so we keep finding surprises.
So to keep doing it, I think Christina Gay's good side, she should probably just keep helping us on that sense, reviewing
Oh, she does a wonderful job helping us out, so, yeah,
it. So
So-
please do more.
okay,
You did good.
I will. It just shocking to find those kind of things just laying out on the counter. Because it is private information, and it wasn't even filed, it was just up on the counter. So, we're working on it. Slow process. Anything else?
Okay, I'll stop.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn. Do I have a second? Second, all in favor?
Aye. Okay. 8:05, just an hour.
Okay.